According to French President Emmanuel Macron, he does not want to see Russia destroyed by a loss in Ukraine. Speaking to French media, Mr. Macron urged Western countries to increase military assistance to Kiev and declared that he was ready for a protracted conflict. "I want Russia to lose in Ukraine, and I want Ukraine to be able to hold its ground," he declared. But he took aim at those who, in his words, wanted to crush Russia by bringing the war into its own borders. The remarks were made as world leaders met at the Munich Security Conference, where it was announced that Moscow would face tougher sanctions and that the supply of weapons to Kiev would be accelerated. According to Mr. Macron, "I do not think, as some people do, that we must aim for a total defeat of Russia, attacking Russia on its own soil. Those observers prioritize crushing Russia over all else. French policy has never been, and will never be, that way." Speaking at a conference on Friday in Munich, Mr. Macron emphasized that now was not the appropriate time for talks with Moscow. However, he did not hesitate to state that peace talks were the ultimate objective. According to the president, military action by Ukraine with the assistance of allies was the only way to bring Russia back to the table and build a lasting peace. He also scoffed at the idea of a regime change in Russia, calling similar initiatives worldwide a total failure. Despite Mr. Macron's remarks, the leaders of Ukraine see negotiations as a distant possibility. Dmytro Kuleba, the foreign minister, expressed his approval of the decision to exclude Moscow from the Munich conference on Friday. "As long as the terrorist state kills, as long as it uses bombs, missiles, and tanks as an argument for international politics," he said, "Russian leaders shouldn't be invited to the table." Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have decided against holding immediate talks because they don't trust each other, the president said. In an interview with the BBC earlier this week, he also rejected the notion of ceding territory in order to reach a peace agreement with Moscow. Some NATO allies have previously criticized Mr. Macron for what they perceive to be inconsistent messaging regarding Ukraine. In June of last year, Mr. Kuleba denounced him for saying that it was crucial that Russia not be humiliated over its invasion. Mr. Kuleba responded at the time by saying that Russia needed to be put in its place because it was humiliating itself.